This is the reason you have a hard time actually creating and posting content. So many of my clients come to me saying they have really good content ideas. They know they have really valuable information to share, but when they block out time on their calendar to actually bring their ideas to life, they just can't. They can't seem to write anything or start posting. So today, I'm going to talk about why creating content feels so hard and ways for you to start posting today. Okay, I'm not going to leave you in suspense. It's fear. Fear is the reason why you schedule time on your calendar to create a post, but when the time comes, you can't seem to do it. And here's the tricky part about this. It actually never looks like fear in the moment. So I want you to do a few things in this episode today. First, I want you to be able to identify the kind of content fear you have. This is important because noticing the signs of how the fear shows up for you is more than half the battle. And for each one I mention, I'm going to break down ways for you to respond to that fear. That way, it no longer stops you from showing up and marketing your business. So let's get into it. So I said fear is the reason why you have a hard time actually posting. And with my one-on-one clients, I see this come up in 3 different types of ways. The first one is fear of saying it wrong. And even this has a few variations, but the one that you might be the most familiar with is a flavor of perfectionism. With my clients, it shows up as thinking they aren't explaining their concept or idea the right way, or they think people won't really understand what they're trying to say. And when that happens to my clients, it puts them in a state of procrastination, or perfectionism procrastination, to be more specific. They come to me thinking they need more accountability or that they are just feeling lazy. But the reality is for my clients is that perfectionism is preventing them from even starting. This reminds me of one of my clients who is a business coach. She would spend hours in Canva trying to come up with the perfect post, writing and rewriting, fixing layouts, finding the exact right picture, trying to find the perfect thing to say in an Instagram carousel. She wanted to make sure that everyone in her audience understood her concepts. And my client's biggest fear was that she might explain something wrong, or people just wouldn't understand. So she would think and rethink a post over and over again, making a plan to get it exactly right. She'd tinker and rewrite endlessly, and when it came time for her to actually schedule a post, she would think that she actually had nothing to say. Then she wouldn't post. This perfectionism prevented her from finishing anything. So, how did we start to put an end to this fear? We identified her fear habits. What little signals let her know that she was avoiding or procrastinating due to fear? When I first worked with this client, the thing that we did was understand what her marketing fear habits were. For her, spending time in Canva, writing and rewriting was a sign that she was afraid. We got clear on all of her fear habits so that she could start to notice when they were happening. Once she knew what her marketing fear habits were, I gave her some exercises. It was designed to get her back to feeling confident in what she was saying in her emails, posts, and stories. These exercises were grounded in actual results she got for her clients and what they were saying about her and the concepts that she created. This is all about knowing the habits you go to when you feel unsure about your marketing. And once you know them, to then get your confidence back so that you can create marketing to grow your business. When you're in perfectionist mode, you'll spend hours wondering if what you said was the right thing. And when that happens, you stop showing up to market and grow your business. Doing this exercise is how my clients are able to overcome their perfectionist marketing habits, and these exercises are going to help them to start showing up. Now, the next fear that comes up for my clients is the fear of uncertainty. This fear looks like doubt, and it stops so many of my clients from even attempting to market their business. It gets them thinking things like, what if they're wasting their time? Or even wondering if all this effort they're putting into their marketing will even result in getting any clients. So, I have a client who is a service provider, and this was something that came up a lot for her. She felt as if she was trying everything, and the thought that was running through her head was, what if I'm wasting my time? And nothing sucks the desire out of wanting to create marketing to grow your business like thinking that it just won't work. This is exactly what was happening with my client when she came to work with me. So, the first thing we did as we worked together was break down what exactly had been working for her. My client was showing up in a lot of places. She was on LinkedIn, she was on Instagram, she had an email list, she was blogging, and she was even hosting events. But she wasn't sure which of these platforms was actually helping. And what I did was help her to get clear on exactly which platforms were helping her reach her goal. The antidote to fear of uncertainty is creating a sense of certainty. For this client, it meant getting clear on which platforms and approaches have worked for her thus far. Her fear that nothing worked was able to creep in because in her mind, nothing was working. When we got clear on what things in her business were and weren't working, she was able to focus her attention on the things that were proven to work. That step alone gave her new energy. She felt less helpless about what she needed to do to grow her business. Because she knew where to focus most of her attention, she didn't have to feel bad about not showing up on platforms that weren't getting her clients. This fear of uncertainty, the fear that you're wasting your time, can feel so draining. So, when you notice these thoughts coming up, I want you to go and see what has worked for you in the past. Has going live on Instagram worked for you? Has your business grown through referrals? Knowing exactly what has helped you before will dispel your fears about not being able to get clients in the future. So, we talked about perfectionism and wanting to say things the exact right way. And we've talked about the fear of uncertainty and being afraid that your effort won't pay off. Now, the last fear I want to discuss is the fear of not having a good enough offer. When this fear shows up, the main thought is, will anyone actually pay for that? Creating marketing from this headspace isn't going to get you the results you're looking for as a business owner. I have a client who is a leadership and personal development coach, and when she first came to work with me, her top concern was that people wouldn't want to pay to work with her. She thought that because she didn't promise making $5,000 in 30 days, she would have a hard time selling her one-on-one program. She thought it wasn't good enough to justify the price. Because she wasn't confident about why someone would pay to work with her, she wasn't showing up as consistently as she wanted. She would post and she would give advice, but what she wasn't doing was selling or telling people why working with her as a leadership coach was transformational. She wasn't doing that because she thought she was good enough to give advice, but not fully convinced that what she sold was enough. My tool to beat this fear: prove to yourself why it is worth it. After she started working with me one-on-one, we wrote a list of all the reasons why her audience would be willing to pay to work with her one-on-one. Some of these things just came to her off the top of her head, but a great majority were based on hard facts. We looked at DMs. We looked at client intake forms. I had her go through recordings of client sessions. The goal for my client was to see exactly why people would want to pay money to work with her. We needed to rewrite the story that was going on in her head, the story that told her that what she offered wasn't enough. When we had that list, she could see in black and white the exact reasons why people wanted to pay to work with her. And we use those exact reasons to create marketing. And what's so powerful about this exercise is that all of these reasons are all based on what people have actually said. Confronting that fear with facts is the first step to creating marketing that you actually feel excited about. As I worked with this leadership coach, every week she showed up to her marketing and her business with greater confidence. She would refer to that list, think of the specific person who said why they were willing to pay money to work with her, and focus on creating great content. The information from the people she worked with was exactly what she needed to overcome the fear that what she sold wasn't enough. The three fears, fear of not saying the right thing, fear of the marketing not working, and the fear of your offering not being good enough, is what's stopping you from creating marketing that attracts clients. Fear is stopping so many business owners from marketing and growing their businesses. When I work with my clients, I help them overcome the fears that are stopping them from having the clients they want. In my one-on-one messaging program, The Blueprint, I help you overcome the fears holding you back from creating marketing that gets you clients. I support you as you grow your confidence and get into a rhythm that allows you to stay in your marketing energy. During this 3-month program, you will get weekly support reviewing content, access to me between sessions as roadblocks show up for you, and supportive feedback so that you feel empowered to take action. Head to the show notes and book a call to work with me. On this call, we will talk about how you can let go of the fear and start creating marketing that speaks directly to your dream clients. Okay, y'all, I'll talk to you next time. If you want more marketing that works right in your inbox, head to the show notes and sign up for the email list. You'll be the first to know how you can work with me on mastering your marketing.